Hello everyone, and welcome back. We're going to do some more Gen 7 RNG, and this time you can see I've started kind of in the middle of things, because this time we are going to do ambush encounters. Last time we figured out how easy it was just to use honey to stand in a patch of grass and trigger an encounter with whatever you want, but ambush encounters are different beasts entirely. These are significantly more difficult because of how they are triggered. Like in the example that we have right here, I have the thing coming at me, and I opened up my menu, and we can close the menu and start the encounter. Others will come at you out of trees, and you have to actually take a step forward to them. And depending upon your location, or where you open your menu, you can end up with significant amounts of delay, so you have to do a lot of adjustments. So one thing I would recommend, if you're doing this on Citra, use save states. It will save you a lot of time and energy, especially if you find your delay, and then you can just go back to your old save state and go ahead. You can do this on a 3DS. I have done it on a 3DS. It's not as easy just because you have to try to be as consistent as possible. So there is that. Just keep that in mind. But regardless, it is still doable. So let's bring up our tool right now. And I've already pre-populated my seed, and obviously these didn't change. But we're looking at ambush encounters today. And we're on Route 2. And there's a whole bunch of other things here. But yeah, so ambush encounters have a trigger. If you choose none, your frames will be off, so don't use that. Otherwise, you have make a step, which is like the tree encounters, or bush encounters, and then close the menu, which is more applicable to this particular one. And then, of course, everything else is pretty much the same. You just make sure you mark it, whether it's close the menu or take a step. Make sure you got your day, night, and raining set, because that will affect things. Day-night only affects your encounters, what encounters will show up, but raining will affect your frames a little bit. And other than that, we are going to proceed as if this was any other RNG. So we're going to get our starting frame here, and then we will generate a timeline. And let's see, we got this. And I happen to know this area has 3 NPCs because I was doing testing earlier, and this spot right here is 3 NPCs. So just keep that in mind. You'll have to kind of determine what the number of NPCs are. And of course, the lower the better. The higher number of NPCs, the higher number of frames you go, which means that it has to compact a lot more Pokemon stats into each frame. So even if you hit the right frame, sometimes you still won't get the right stats or nature or shininess or whatever just because of that. So keep in mind, less frames each advancement, the better, the easier, the more consistent. Alright, let's go ahead and do our safe frame, figure out where we need to go. Alright, 1920 is probably our best bet, so let's advance to 1920. Good year. Alright, we're in 1930 now. Better year. Alright, and let's create our timeline. 1934, 1938, 1942. Let's get out of the 40s as quickly as possible, man. Alright, we're in 1950. And so it looks like our timeline is correct here. So we can now search for our shiny frame. 3561 is really close, so let's go for that one. We don't even have to do a cut or anything. Let's see, looking at its stats, it's obviously not great, but I'm just trying to show this off here. When you get more confident, you can start to use these filters here to get whatever stats you want, but be prepared to wait quite a while, just because wild encounters don't have a guaranteed number of IVs. They're not like legendaries, so you're going to have to get lucky to get really good stats. I would recommend you should just breed them, or do a legendary, which already comes with a baseline number of stats. So I've set 3561 as my target. Let's hide the window, and we're going to advance. And I also made a save state. Like I said, I'm aware that it's not doing it like without any aids, but then again, we're kind of trying to get this in our favor here. And this is pretty tough. Alright, here we are, 3,400. Less than 100 frames to go. Alright, so you can see here that we're advancing. We're only advancing 2 frames each time I hit this, which is good. That means that there's a better chance of us hitting the shiny frame we want. Alright, here we are, 3561. All we have to do is close this menu, and at this point, it's all out of our hands, so I'm going to set my wild tab, and we're going to just start this. Here's the encounter. That is not what we were expecting. That is obviously not a shiny. It's done sparse. Stats are completely different. That's okay. I've been trying. In previous videos I've been saying, okay, well here's what happens if your delay isn't right. So now we actually get to look at it and go through it ourselves. So all right, let's bring our tool back up because we're gonna need it, and we're gonna pause this because we don't need that running. Okay, so we're gonna clear out everything. 3561 remains our target. Let's see if we can locate these stats on an adjacent or nearby frame, because that would help. Alright, so here's where our target was. And let's see, the stats of the Dunsparce we hit, 29, 3, 5, 11, 27, 1, which actually corresponds right here. And slot 2, which is in fact Dunsparce. So yeah, this to be completely transparent, the shiny frame is slot 3, which would be a Drowsy at night. So we'll see when we get that. But yeah, so we can see that the frames are off. The delay is off by 2. So all we have to do, since it's a negative number, we decrease it by 2. We can re-hit calculate, and we'll go back down here. Actually, even faster, we'll just hit shiny only. You can see now, instead of hitting 3561, we want to close the menu at 3563. Okay. Now, if this was you doing on a 3DS, or you don't have a save state or something like this, you would just try to replicate things as closely as possible and just use this new delay. I happen to have a save state, so we're just going to go hop back to it. And we'll advance to 3563 this time. So here we go. Which is just a quick jaunt. Alright, we're about 100 frames out. I got a little bit risky and advanced slightly faster. Just be careful when you do that. Alright, so here was our old target. Now we just do one more advancement. 3563, everything lines up. Close our menu, and take it away. And we can see. Rather, now you can see. You can see that we got a shiny Drowsy. And it has the exact stats of what we were looking for. 3, 5, 11, 27, 1, 15. Impish nature. Obviously, everything's good. So yeah, that's how you can kind of compensate for your delay. Just keep that in mind going forward. Anyways, let's go ahead and catch this one. Throw a Dusk Ball at it. And so that wasn't too bad. This one was a fairly close frame, and we got lucky in that our delay was fairly close. I've had situations where your delay is really off because you open the menu too early, or there's just too many NPCs and it's causing a lot of chatter. So just keep that in mind going forward. Try to get as few NPCs in the area as possible, and try to have the menu open as close to the encounter as possible to help you out. But we're going to do some more wild RNG, because again, this isn't the only type. So I'm going to cut away to another location where we're going to cut away to another location where there's a different type of encounter, and then from there we'll try to do that RNG, and then we'll finish this all up with Island Scan, because Island Scan isn't too complicated, but you can get some really cool Pokemon through it. So I will catch you in just a couple of minutes. Okay, we made it back to a spot where I think we'll find some interesting ambushes. And you can look at my map if you're familiar with the area. We are in Pony Plains on Pony Island, sponsored by Pony Corporation. Or the Pony Express, one of the two. Uninspired naming convention aside, here we have right now we're right in front of a tree that if I make one single step to the left, we will have an encounter, an ambush encounter. So let's bring up our tool. And we will see. I've already got things mostly pre-populated. One thing to note is that Pony Plains has something like four different encounters, ambush encounters. The one that we're looking at is 2. I only know that just because I looked on a map. But this one has a Primeape at the 60%, Apom at 20%, and a Molga at 20%. Day or night, so honestly day or night doesn't really matter as much. You'll also notice that there is no trigger here, because there is no way to trigger the encounter of any other way than making a step forward. So that's what we've got, that's what we're going to go with. Alright, so other than that, this is just exactly the same as our last ambush encounter, just, we trigger it a different way. So let's go ahead and create our timeline. Alright, I've got my frame. I always do one or two advances, just to make sure that everything is there. Alright, so let's find a safe frame. Oh, and you'll see, I got to pop up this at error frame range, because you saw that this frame is lower than that frame. You just pump this up a little bit. Doesn't matter. Alright, safe frame only. It says that we're on a safe frame. We're advancing by only 2. So it looks like we only have 1 NPC. Another thing to note is if you're in an area with a lot of ambush encounters, clear out all the ones except for the one you're looking for beforehand. That will reduce the number of NPCs and make your life just a little bit easier. Alright, so we're at 37. Safe frame. Alright, we're on a safe frame. Let's calculate it out and we'll do a quick little timeline check. Yeah, it looks good. Alright, shiny only frame. Let's figure this out. 74853. And let's see, look at the slot. It's slot 1. Okay, which shows a Primeape. And otherwise, stats are good. I mean, again, we're just doing this to show. And if you get it working and you're feeling confident, go ahead, shoot for the stars. All right, well, let's go for this one. 74853. We'll just do some advancing. So we just gotta stand here. Normally, I like to keep the menu open when I advance, because the fidgeting sometimes messes with your frames, but you can't really do it, and we can't do a timeline leap here, so we're just gonna bear with it. And you also notice that I sped things up. That tree is really having a party. We'll be there in just a second. Okay, and here we are. We're just doing the final advances. 74853, 74853. hide this so you can see what goes on the screen. Alright, so now I just take a single step over, and you can see that the encounter started. I updated the wild. It doesn't have the right information yet, so you gotta wait till the encounter actually starts, which we'll have it do right now. Interesting. Well, we got a shiny. It has the right stats, but it is not, in fact, a primate. So I'm going to pause this for a second. We'll do some investigation, just because that has some interesting implications. All right, so let's look at our timeline. We're going to go all the. I'm going to bring up the tool first so you can see it. All right, so bring up the timeline, and we're going to go and find the shiny frame we targeted. And what I suspect is that we're going to see that there was a couple of frames that were shiny, all in the same general location. Alright, so not in the timeline, but let's put in 74839, go. Okay, now we can look at our frame range here. So this just gives us a better view. Oh, no. They're both listed as slot 1. Never mind. Alright, so this brings me to an interesting point, and that is that this tool is not exact. Sometimes things are not exactly as they're written down. It's no one's fault. This is a very complicated system here. The underlying math is correct, as you can see, because we got the shiny encounter with the exact same stats that we were expecting. Just it says that this is slot 1, and according to this, slot 1 is primate, but we really got an APOM, which is listed as slot 2. It could be some sort of math. It could be something off. I'm not personally going to worry about it, because, to be honest, I kind of prefer an APOM to a primate anyways. So let's catch this guy. Put him in our Dusk Bowel. But there, now we've seen mainly the two types of ambush encounters. There's also encounters on the sea, which are functionally exactly the same as like the rustling grass ones. And there is like the Wimpod in a few locations, which you kind of have to chase down. Wimpod is going to be is a tough one. I've done it a couple of times, and it has been a difficult one to RNG. Unfortunately, it is the only way to catch Wimpod. So the other option is to breed it. But there we go. We got our shiny APOM. He doesn't need a name. We're okay. And there we go. Alright, so we got one more thing that I want to show off after, and that is Island Scan. It kind of falls into the whole category of like wild RNG. It functions almost exactly the same as you hunting for a wild honey encounter, but I wanted to go over it just so you can see what it looks like and be able to do it on your own. So we'll cut away. I'm gonna go do my Island Scan stuff and find a lovely location for it, and then we will reconvene. So I will see you shortly. We are back. We are still on Pony Island because it's my favorite island, but mostly because this has the Pokemon that I want to find. So first things first, we are in our item bag. We've paused emulation. We're ready to go. I haven't actually done the scan yet, but I have my system clock set to a Friday, which in Ultra Moon, Friday Island Scan will give you a Gray Ninja. I will put a link in the description to where you can find all of the different days and what you'll find. Each island has a different Pokemon for each day of the week. So, for example, on Sunday on the first island, you'll find a Charmander. On Friday on Pony Island, you'll find Gray Ninja, and then you can find different Pokemon on different island in each day. So you have to do the scan on the island you actually want to catch it on, otherwise you'll just get that island's Pokemon. So we are pretty much ready to go. And let's just start this back up. You'll notice that I have a different seed. and that's because I just didn't want to go that high on my frames. I want to just kind of start from the beginning. Anyways, here we go. We'll just do our... Oop, nope. Here we go. Now we do our island scan. All the Pony Islands being scanned. There's a Grey Ninja in the Pony Wilds, where we already are. Okay, so now we can actually do our RNG. So let's bring up our tool. And you want to set this to Island Scan under the Wild RNG, and then you can select whatever Pokemon you want, and it'll automatically populate here where you're actually going to go for it. So I already will select Greninja, Pony Wilds. You can ignore the slot entirely. We don't care about the slot. Make sure you get day or night right, and then you have to just calibrate for number of NPCs. This area that I'm standing in right now should be 0 NPCs. And you can see, when I'm advancing, I'm not getting any, I'm only going up 1 frame. So, from there, we can just create our timeline, and find a shiny one. Okay, there's one, this is actually a nice one, because this one is, not only does it have a perfect IV, but it also, would be a square shiny. So, that's cool. Granted, I don't think you can actually transfer this one to Sword and Shield yet, but maybe one day? I don't know. So, let's go for this one. And it's not that far away, so we don't even have to go to Festival Plaza or anything. So we're just going to do our advances. And we'll still speed it up a little bit, because with 0 NPCs, it still is a tiny bit on the slow side. So I'll just catch up with everyone watching in just a few minutes. Okay, we're back. We're almost there. And there's actually something that I forgot to mention that is fairly important. This thankfully won't change anything that we're doing right now, but make sure after you do your timeline to click this special only thing. Because if you look here, you see that 8911 is a shiny frame, 8918 is also a shiny frame, but when you look at the slots, you see 8911 is slot QR, so that will actually be the Island Scan Pokemon, but this one will just be slot 8, which is, I think, Gastrodon? No, it's an NK. Either way, make sure that you click this special only, and we'll recalculate here. Okay, so now these are only showing the QR slots, so you'll get the Island Scan Pokemon. Forgot to mention that. Fairly important. Glad I remembered. Okay, now let's go ahead and advance to 8911. Alright. And now we go into our bag. And functionally, this is exactly the same as if we were doing it through a wild RNG. We just want to make sure we get that special slot. Alright, so let's see if we got it. Yes, we did. Oh yeah, look at that thing. Man, shiny Grey Ninja is awesome. So yeah, and we can look at our stats, and we can verify that the stats are exactly what we wanted. It is shiny, and it is perfect in every way. Except for the stats. And the nature. Other than that though, perfect. Alright, let's just catch in a Dusk Ball. Oh, come on. Alright, fine. We'll catch you the normal way. Regardless, this is all there is to doing island scans. You just have to scan it. If you happen to be doing it on Citra, there is a repository that I've found with pictures that you can scan a lot easier just on the emulator, and I'll include that in the link as well. And I'll credit whoever created it because they are a hero. Sorry, you can't substitute, but that's all you gotta do. Scan your QR codes, go to the island you want, and then hunt it down like it's a normal wild, because essentially it is. We'll get this guy, though. He's really doesn't want to join me. Alright. I'm gonna do a roto catch. I'm gonna catch this guy, and we'll cut to when I actually catch this guy. There we go. Okay, we got the Great Ninja. Just and the most important thing is that the Pokeballs match the shiny. But yeah, I just wanted to show everyone that you got them. We're gonna name this one Ash. It's not actually Ash Great Ninja, although you can get it still. All right, and that's all there is to it. So next time we are going to go ahead and get into breeding, because breeding allows you to get the strongest Pokemon with shininess, and there's a couple of different ways to do it depending upon how you are set up for it. So we'll go into it a little bit, and we'll have some fun with it. So I hope to catch you all next time. Thank you for watching.